Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2021 science fiction film Warning, a film that is directed by Agata Alexander and it stars such recognisable names as Thomas Jane, Rupert Everett, Alice Eve, James Darcy, Patrick Schwarzenegger, Annabelle Wallis and Alex Pettyfer. Now, this is a science fiction film that kind of explores a number of different subject matters set in the near future, and it's almost structured like an anthology film, but it's not. It's more a case of interlinking stories that all kind of really explore things like the meaning of life, like mortality and religion and death and all this kind of things. There are such things going on in this film. There is a story of these unwanted, like, household robots, and it focuses on one story about one of these robots that just can't seem to get adopted. Nobody seems to want him. There is Thomas Jane is an astronaut that gets kind of blasted off into space and he's all on his own. You've got probably my favourite part of the film was that there's like a story with Alice Eve, and you've got like this. She's got this device. It's almost like Alexa, but it's God. So rather than going to church and having that interlinking connection with God, you've got this device that basically rules your life. It tells you if you committed a sin and gives you a fine, gives you inspirational notes on the day and all this kind of stuff. And this story revolves around her dependency on this device and what happens when it breaks down and all this kind of stuff, which I thought that was an interesting way to approach religion, I suppose. There's this weird VR story about stalking. I think it's Patrick Schwarzenegger that's in that one. There's another kind of story about immortality, about this immortal man that's falling in love with a mortal woman. That's got Annabelle Wallis in that film. And Alex Pettyfer. There's a COVID-19 themed type story. And it was just, I don't know, nothing really grabbed me about this film. It felt all a bit glitz and glamour, and it felt like it didn't focus enough on any of the stories, and none of them really gripped me massively. And to be honest, at its worst, I found the film a bit preachy and pretentious, and at its best, I found it a little bit disposable and uninteresting at times, which is not good really for a film like this. I think it was trying to get a message across, or a few messages across, in a quite clumsy way. And even though some of them were quite thought-provoking and interesting, I suppose, in how they approached the story, like I said, none of them had me gripped to my seat at all, really. And I was hoping for more. There were a couple of the stories you just check out on. I just didn't. I couldn't necessarily figure out what the story was about, massively so, and I found them a bit dull and uninteresting. But the whole thing looked and sounded great, if you like. There's some really interesting direction going on. Obviously, there's some talent here. Really nice lighting, really nice camera shots, the whole sort of thing, the soundtrack and everything, and the performances here by everybody are absolutely fine. It's a top quality film in regards to the production values. So everything delivered for me on this film, apart from the story and the narrative, it just didn't grip me, and I just found it all a little bit disposable and dull. And uninteresting, and the ones I did find mildly interesting, they didn't focus on it anywhere enough for me. So yeah, it was almost like it was a waste of talent here. You know, you had all these recognisable names, and to be honest, it was actually nice to see Thomas Jane in a film that wasn't like a throwaway, low-budget affair, the type of thing that he's been doing this last couple of years. It's probably a little bit of a step up for him at these days, this film, in regards to production values in a film. But, I mean, whereas this is no way gonna change the world. You know, it does try and raise some interesting questions. It just, I don't think, did it in a way that was interesting to watch. So from my perspective, I just found the whole thing a little bit, like I say, at its worst, a bit preachy and a little bit pretentious, and at its best, watchable in some sections, I suppose. And like I say, it's an anthology film, trying not to be an anthology film. And if you want to watch a film on the meaning of life or the message of the meaning of life, go and watch Monty Python's The Meaning of Life. That's really entertaining, funny, and the questions it raises are just as important as the questions this film raises. They just does it in a far more entertaining way than this one. So the best I can really offer this one in regards to a score is 5 out of 10, and a lot of that is down to the quality, the production values, the direction, and the performances by the cast. What lets the film down is the film itself, really. It's just not overly interesting. So that's my review for Warning. I hope you found it useful and interesting. I will be back with plenty more content on the channel very, very soon.